We are standing at a spot which is just outside Uttarakhand. This is called Gangori, where we have come across several people who are actually walking out from areas which have been affected by the flash floods. If we can just speak to some people over here who have trekked out. You were on a trip to Uttarakhand this time around. You had trekked already up to Tapovan, but you were stuck because of the floods over the weekend, last weekend.
That's right, on the last leg of the trek.
Your name first, sorry?
My name is Kiran.
Right.
And on the last leg of the trek from Chirbasa to Gangotri, that's when the rain started, and that trek got really difficult. But the road was broken, disappeared, so it was a really hard trek to come back to Gangotri. When we came to Gangotri, there was no communication, no way of communicating with anyone. We were stuck there for 2 days, and then we were told that if you walk to Hassel, we might get airlift. And we did trek all the way to Hassel, but there was no luck. Army wasn't able to help us, and after waiting there for 2 days, we had to walk down to Patwari, I think if I pronounce it right.
Yeah.
Which was nearly about 40 kilometers, 44 kilometers that day. It's a long trek and very difficult, and I feel sorry for the civilians who were not used to walking. There are elderly people, families with children. It's a really difficult trek for those.
You were also telling us that the villages in the nearby areas actually pulled in together in order to feed the people over there and help them out.
Definitely. The civilians have been absolutely amazing all the way through. In Hassel, the villagers had got together, pulled together all the resources, and were feeding everybody. And then on the way down, in the very dangerous spots, civilians were actually helping us across. So the volunteers are fantastic. We couldn't, I praise them a lot.
We had where they were giving us mobile phones to say if you want to communicate with your families, and water and everything. I think there were little groups of people all the way through to say, ye pani le lo, ye. There were villagers, there were helpers, villagers. It wasn't the army or the police or anybody which you would think at this sort of stage. Army would be there, police would be there, but they weren't. It was the civilians. It was the local people who were grouping together and cooking food and helping everybody out, which was amazing to see for people like us.
Suki Point,
Suki
Top.
Yeah.
It was really, really dangerous. There's no way to cross. And an expedition company had set up ropes.
Yeah.
It was really treacherous, but they helped us to cross as well, didn't they?
You also must have seen some, usually these, the religious trips that take place at this time of the year have a lot of elderly people.
Oh yeah.
So they must have faced a lot more trouble.
There were a lot of elderly people, ladies with the bruises on their feet and things, the way they were walking.
Little children.
It was shocking to see that. I think it was a shocking experience for us, where we think they're the locals and the way they're coping with it, yet we've got the right gear on and they haven't. And the old ladies, it was heartbreaking.
I
It's not
actually
been
found it
good.
inspiring.
It was
I thought if
inspiring,
these
but it's
women in
heartbreaking.
their saris and no shoes can do these very difficult crossings,
And
then
yet
what am I complaining about? It was just
been a
very,
hard
very
journey.
inspiring to see these people actually.
Army's trying to lift people who are elderly and sick out of Hassel. But there aren't enough resources. There are not enough helicopters to lift them out, and even to make a phone call you have to walk about 4 kilometers out of Hassel to a nearby village where you get signal for half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the afternoon. So 10-kilometer trek just to make a phone call so that you could tell your relatives that you're safe.
So last question, I know this is not like a panic question or anything, but you all are from England. Would you come back on this trek again?
Do you want the honest answer? Perhaps not to this region, no.
I think we might have to reflect on that when we go back and think of everything, because we've been going through different stages every day. When we go back and think about it and think, do we want to do it again? I don't know.
I think all in all, our adventure beats Indiana Jones film. Any one of them. I could rewrite
You
a
have
book.
good spirit there actually. But a group of people over here who've actually trekked out from the Gangotri area towards, they finally reached Uttarakhand. Of course, there's communication over here. There's some way now that they can actually be confident about reaching back to a safer place, reaching home very soon, as soon as possible. But yes, it's been their first trip to this area, and it's been a very, very tough one. As they were saying, they've still managed to come out, the entire group out in one piece and in good health. But yes, they were saying that the sights on the trip on the road were actually heartbreaking and very tough. With camera person Madan Lal in Uttarakhand, Tanima Biswas for NDTV.